Hello and welcome to the new video. If this is your first time here, my name is Hannah and today I will be tackling my ever-growing stack of subscription boxes books. Hi! So in the last episode of this series, I was reading When the Moon Hatched. In the meantime, I have also read Moonstone, but I think that will be in my usual vlog. And this time I decided to pick another book, and this is Dark and Drowning Tide by Allison Saft, and it is a Illumicrate edition from September 2024. And this is a really gorgeous book. I like the cover. It's slightly different than the normal cover. Look at those beautiful edges as well. Top and bottom is as well beautiful, gorgeous. I don't know if it's sprayed, laser printed or whatever. I'm not an expert. And then we also have a fantastic cover as a naked hardback as well. This is printed and foiled. And we have really nice foiling on the edge, and you probably won't be able to see, but it's quite a it seems a little bit pearlescent, this cover. It's gorgeous. We also have lovely end papers, and as per usual we have a author's signature. And we also have a bound-in letter from the author. I have no idea what this book is about. I don't know what audience this is targeted at. I have a feeling this could be young adult, but I could be mistaken. No idea. Okay, so it's not so quick, so get yourself a drink, get comfy. Lorelei, oh, such a difficult name to pronounce. Lorelei Casco, a folklorist with a quick temper and an even quicker wit, is on an expedition with 6 eccentric nobles in search of a mythical spring of untold power. The king wants to harness the fabled water source from which magic flows to secure his reign, and Lorelei is determined to prove herself and to make her dream come true, to become a naturalist able to travel freely to faraway lands. The expedition gets off to a harrowing start when its leader, Lorelei's beloved mentor, is murdered in her quarters aboard the ship. The suspects are her 5 remaining expedition mates. The only person Lorelei knows must be innocent is her longtime academic rival, the insufferably gallant and maddeningly beautiful Sylvia von Wolf. Now in charge of the expedition, Lorelei must find the spring before the murderer strikes again, and a coup begins in earnest. But other dangers lurk in the dark. Forests that rearrange themselves at night, rivers with summoning dragons hiding beneath the water, and shape-shifting beasts out for blood. As Lorelei and Sylvia gradually work together to uncover the truth and resist their growing feelings for each other, they discover that their leader had secrets of her own. Secrets that make Lorelei question whether justice is worth pursuing and if this kingdom is worth saving at all. Oh, lost my voice. So, seems like a sapphic romance, fantasy, dragons, myths and stuff like that. So we'll see what this book is about. Hopefully it will be a successful read. I'm hoping to enjoy it because damn, these boxes got so much money, so at least I'm hoping to get my money's worth. Hello. I started reading A Dark and Drowning Tide on page 78. So I've read 5 chapters and so far so good. I am interested. Okay, so there's this kind of like a land. It's a fantasy land where different creatures live and everything, and people tend to do magic with water. And there is this king, William, I want to say, or Wilhelm, and he's on a mission to discover this. It's either a lake or a river that has a very strong source of magic. No one knew whether it was, and then years of research and different people exploring and listening to the legends and everything, they think they can figure out where this land is. So he gathers a group of, I think there's like 6 or 7 of them or something like that, and one of them is Lorelei, and they go on a ship and they go into this faraway land to discover this source of magic. And Lorelei is someone that comes from like the poorer part of the community, and she knows how to do magic, but I think they were banned from using magic, or people from her tribe or her community hide the fact that they can do magic. So she's there. There's another one, Sylvia. These two seem to be kind of like enemies. Sylvia is this kind of like a boho girl with, like, you know, butterflies and flowers and stuff like that. And Lorelei is this kind of like a stern looking girl or whatever. So they're enemies. They don't like each other, or Lorelei doesn't like Sylvia. But they end up being on the same ship, going on the same expedition. And the leader of this expedition is a professor from university, and that professor, she gets murdered after the first night of being on a ship. And Lorelei discovers her, and this is all I know. So it's going to be, I feel like a little bit of like an Agatha Christie situation when we have a closed room mystery, because obviously there's only a certain amount of people that can be on the ship, especially that where they were staying, the people from, like, you know, the high class people where they're staying on the ship is protected by different wards and stuff. So none of the other servants and people that work on the ship can actually get into that area. So it's one of them that killed her. I still don't understand all the politics, because it's only been 5 chapters, but it's something to do with the king wanting to get all these lands together under his own rule. So I don't know, we shall see. For now, I'm enjoying this. It seems okay. Probably when I'm about 50% mark, I will come back and I will check in with you again. I think I owe you an update. I have read 11 chapters of this book. I'm about 40% in, and I have to say I'm getting a little bit bored. It just feels, it started to feel a bit like a chore. There's a lot of like folklore and legends telling and stuff like that, and I think going into it, I thought it was going to be a little bit more of a murder mystery, with like everything that was happening in the first few chapters, you know, the main expedition captain getting murdered, and, you know, it's kind of like a closed room murder mystery type of thing. And I don't know, there's not much going on. There was one action when they had to go on a boat, because they're traveling down the river, and at some point the river got quite shallow, so they had to go into the rowing boat, and they got attacked by this lizard-looking thing, dragon-looking thing, this lindworm. And that was, I feel so far, that was the only bit of action that I had from this book. And generally I liked my books a little bit more action packed, and a little bit more happening. And so far in this one is really not so much. And I don't know how I feel about this book right now. It would be like a 2-star read for me unless something changes drastically. I think it's going to be one of those books that, you know, and it's a shame because it just kind of shows that Illumicrate books are not really my type of a book that I enjoy reading. They are beautiful, like, look, they're beautiful books, but I don't think these are my type of books. Fortunately, I've just checked, and there is an audiobook of this on Libby, so I think I am going to switch to an audiobook because I am making my book blanket. If you've been watching my vlogs, you would know I started doing my book blanket, and I was doing single rows, and I decided after doing so many rows that single rows, it looks a little bit too busy, and also if I read about 100 or some 100 books, it's not going to be big enough. So I decided to pull it apart, start from 0, and I'm doing double rows. So I'm catching up with January books, and we are already on the 20th of February, and I will still have to do all my February books because I don't want to get behind with this blanket too much. I kind of want to keep on top of it because obviously or not because I also have other projects going on. So I'm almost done with my January books. This is what it's looking like right now. So I think switching to an audiobook will also help me, you know, maybe I can sit down, do my crochet and listen to an audiobook, and maybe hopefully it will go a little bit quicker because I've been really quite struggling with this book. I'll give it a go as an audiobook and we'll see what happens. I'm just not very impressed. I think it's a little bit too fairy tale-y for me. I don't know, fairy tale-y, folklore-y. Yeah, I don't mind folklore, but I like it when it's in a horror book. I like folk horror, or yeah, I like folk horror. I don't know if I like folk fantasy. We'll see. We'll see how it goes after switching to an audiobook. I'm gonna get myself ready for work, get my lunch ready, get something to eat, and then I'm going to sit down, listen to this, and work on my book blanket. My people, I come to you to say I have about less than 100 pages left of this book, and yesterday I did tell you that I started listening to this via audio, and I have to say the audiobook goes better for me than reading the book. So today my plan is, I had an Etsy order for the frames, the usual frames. You've probably seen them in my vlogs before. So I think what I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna go and shower first because I literally just came back from work. I'm gonna go and shower first, and then I'm gonna come downstairs and I'm gonna cut out my frames and hopefully finish listening to this book. And then I'll be able to tell you all about it, all about how I feel. I am not this book's biggest fan. And let me start there. It's okay, but it's just okay. But anyway, I'll tell you more when I actually finish listening to this, because everything can change. Maybe not, but who knows? My people, I have just finished reading A Darker Drowning Tide. I put my headphones on and I was listening to this. First, I cut out my frames, and then I just plonked myself on the sofa, picked up my crocheting, and I was listening to this, and I finished this today. Also, I love how my lights reflect in this foiling. It's so cool. And I think this is the only thing that I like about this book. The cover is really, really cute. The rest of it, oh, what a disappointment. Let me start from the beginning and give you a really, really short synopsis, because I think I've already mentioned like the main plot, the main story of the book. So we have a group of people and they are being sent on an expedition by the king to uncover this source of magic. I think it's a spring or a body of water, something like this, and it's supposed to be super magical, and whoever is worthy having those powers, after soaking themselves in that water, they become very powerful. So he sends this group of people on this expedition, and I think after the first night or something like this, the leader of the expedition gets murdered. So we kind of have like a closed room, a murder mystery with a very limited amount of people that are being primarily suspected of the murder. And I think everything is fine up to that point. Like, I find it interesting, I find it engaging, and then Lorelei, I cannot pronounce her name, so I'm gonna call her Laurie. So Laurie at this point gets tasked by the king to investigate and to find out who murdered that leader of the expedition. And after that, everything slows right down. There's this one battle with the lindworm with this thing, and then after that there's literally nothing happening. There's a little bit of bickering going on between our two main female characters. There are some folk tales randomly introduced in the story, but I feel like, you know, you're kind of in the middle of something and then someone just says this legend and then you're like, what the hell? How is that even connected? And at this point, everybody kind of forgot that we're supposed to do the investigating and we're supposed to find out who murdered that person. And everybody just doing their own thing. This is how it feels. Like everybody was doing their own thing. And oh my gosh, I just found it so frustrating. Like, I felt like nothing was connected. I just found it boring. And I think at that point, when everything slowed down, I decided to switch to an audiobook. Libby had an audiobook available, so I started listening to this because I found reading this book was literally, it was so slow. It felt, I don't know, it felt like I was knee deep in mud and I was dragging my feet through the mud. That's how it felt. And I feel like if I didn't switch to an audiobook, I will probably DNF this book. And what else? None of the characters are likable, at least not to me. I found Laurie very annoying. She was in her head a lot, and I don't know. I just didn't enjoy. I think the only person that I kind of liked was, I think Ludwig was his name. So he was cursed and he started like turning into the tree, and at the end he kind of had this branch sticking out, and this is the only part that I liked about him. That made him interesting to me. Apart from this, it was, I don't know, I felt like it was such a muddy book. Like, I did not enjoy it. Like, I didn't find it engaging. I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, I need to know what's gonna happen to them. I had none of these feelings. And also, when we eventually find out who the murderer was, I just felt like it was so anticlimactic. And it was kind of like brushed over and brushed under the carpet. And I don't know, it didn't even feel very, very impactful to me. Maybe the fault is in me and not necessarily in the book, because we all know that I like my thrillers, that I like my horrors, and this is not. It's a, in my opinion, it's a slow-paced book, and I like to be thrilled. I like when there's a pace and action and things are happening in the story, and this one didn't provide. And I'm not saying this book is bad. I just think this is not a book for me. I have rated it 2 stars, better than DNFing it, in my opinion. And it kind of just reaffirms my opinion of Illumicrate books and in general subscription box books, they're just not for me. As I have still few left from my locked library, I think Evernight and Illumicrate, I will continue with this series because why not? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give me thumbs up if you did. And before you go, you should be seeing a video when I was reading When the Moon Hatched. So have a look if that interests you. And for now, I thank you for watching and I'll see you in my next one.